Hello, it's me, Avenel. So, this is just a little, I don't know, video about being a plus sized person starting something like dance. I'm going to just talk about dance because that's what I do, but it could be anything active, physically active, or anything else because there is actually just kind of a mindset stuff that goes on with being plus size in our society, but in a lot of societies, I think. Um, anyways, so I've been all different weights in my life, and I've done a lot of the whole, um, you know, goal setting on losing a weight, this weight, or eating this many calories a day, or whatever. And there was a time where I had really lost quite a bit of weight, and I started looking at myself, and I would look at myself in the mirror, and I would see some part of me that wasn't right yet, right yet. um, and I would be discouraged and feel bad about myself and kind of like not like myself, right? And then I started thinking like, that's my before picture. And that was like a big thing for me. Like, that's my before picture. And it helped me not feel discouraged because it was like, it's just one more step and you're almost there. And then in more recent years, um, as I've gone through a whole bunch more on that whole roller coaster, um, I just realized like that wasn't cool to me. For me, if I look at myself like a before picture, I'm looking at myself like the thing that's undesirable, the thing that I don't want. I don't like you. Like you, you just here to get me to that person, the pretty person to come in. And I started to realize that's messed up. Why would I help me do that? Like if I'm treating myself like an undesirable before picture, what part of me is really going to participate in that process? Like it's all that seems just really dysfunctional to me, right? Nowadays, at this after going through a lot of other seasons of life. Um, and so I started looking at myself a little differently. Anytime that I'm at a higher weight or there's something I notice about myself um, that takes that my immediate response is that's bad or I don't like that. Um, that I'm not my before picture. I'm the badass. I'm the one working through the hard stuff. I'm the one going out there and doing something hard, putting myself out there for criticism, which is brave. And I'm the badass. And so for me, when I started dance, I I was not thinking, okay, I'm going to lose weight. And I'm nice. No, I want to do something fun for me now, for this person, for my badass, not my before picture, because I don't need to be somebody else. But this person right now wants to be able to do something fun and something that I feel good about and feel that I enjoy. And so my goal is not to lose weight, is not to become stronger and look prettier or anything like that. Nothing external. It's not for me taking this person and making them into somebody that other people will like. It's all about what is it for me? Because I've been trying to make myself into whatever society tells us we should make ourselves into for most of my life and not just society, like individuals and other people. We all have ideals for other people that we push on them and they carry. And so in this season, it's not about that. This is for me. And so my goal as far as strengthening and all that is I want to have the muscle to be able to do what I want and enjoy without like hurting myself. And I want to be able to be creative and be able to put myself out there, knowing that I don't need to be like the dancers that a lot of people like the really fancy people and the people who can do all that cool stuff. I just want to have fun with it and enjoy it and feel and surprise myself like, oh, I didn't know I was going to learn that one, or that looks really cool, whatever. So that's my goal. And because the me now, because we're always in the present. If we're looking forward towards something that we feel like that's a goal, that someday I want to do that, and someday I want to be that, someday I want to do that, to me, that's okay. Someday I want to be able to do that. Someday I want to be that means that I'm saying I don't want to be me. I want to be another person. And I'm not saying like you could be a dancer, but like as far as really identity, as far as I want to be able to be, and it seems like a separate thing from what I am now. It's me. You know what I'm saying? It's hard to explain it because my brain's wired a little differently. And so, anyways, hopefully you're figuring it out. But if not, I'm sure someday I'll circle back to it because I have a hard time keeping on a linear train of thought. Um, Now I'm thinking about trains. Anyways, so I just think that when we're taking something we're doing and trying to use it and trying to tell ourselves, the one we are now, who's probably struggling, especially if you're plus size, there's a lot of, there's just a lot every day, like that you have to get through. Things are harder physically, but there's also just the weight of people's viewpoints about you is it's heavy, and constantly trying to not look like the stereotype, because there's so many stereotypes of being a plus size person, and um, finding confidence is hard because you can build confidence and then the wrong situation with the wrong people and something said and it just knocks you down like a whole bunch, and it's just and people make so many assumptions about it. Like it's a complex issue, like being overweight technically, which I don't like using that because um, I prefer plus size because it's accurate. Um, Overweight can be an opinion. That person's overweight. Well, what weight were you? What weight is it that you think is right, so that you can say they're over? Or fat. I think that's a subjective term, and I think it just depends. But plus size, that's legitimately. I wear plus size clothing, so it's what it is. Anyway, um, but I just think that it's having that mindset of liking me. Being able to like me was hard, like really hard, and I had to um, be away from people a lot and spend time with myself um, because I even when people aren't saying anything, I hear it. And sometimes it might be in my imagination. I might not be right on what people are thinking. I might be misinterpreting their body language or whatever. But I needed to not have that interference for long enough to think about me for me, and recognize like what is the goal. Like when I'm trying to lose weight and all these things, I can say, oh, it's for healthy, and I want to be healthy, but that's, I know deep down it's not so much that. I want to be one of the people that seem to have it easier, that are prettier and liked and can do stuff and it's not hard, and and yes, I want to, but I don't need to be smaller. I need to just have enough strength, and I need to have enough practice and ability to do the things I enjoy. And at this point, I'm not like some amazing dancer by the world standards, but for me, I'm impressed with myself. I do really well compared to what I ever thought I could, especially because I'm not a person who ever like really thought I could do dance. And the other thing I like is I learned a couple things at the beginning just to give me a because I just didn't even know what to do. Like I didn't even know how people like dance. Um, but for the most part, it's just stuff I figure out playing around with it. There's different rhythms and different swings, and you start to figure stuff out. And so I like to bring the dance out of me and not put more in me, because the more I'm watching other people, how they're doing things, and like following along with the routine or learning that whole routine, then I'm just mimicking. And I'm not putting it down as a practice. I think anything, whatever it takes for each person, find your spot. But for me, I know that especially when it comes to like creativity and I'm pent up. I have so much stuff down, and from the very beginning in our culture, you start going into school and everything, they constantly pushing you down back in yourself and putting stuff in that's all the culture and the society and our desires and our what is right and what you should do. I hate should. I hate should. I could beat the heck out of should. I hate that word. I mean, in that sense, when people are saying you should be this, you should do that. Well, it should be this way. What is it? let's talk about is for a little bit. Anyways, so there is already a lot in me, and I need to not be taking in any more should be's and let out my is. What am I? What is in there already? What creativity and like how do I want to try it? And yeah, I look stupid sometimes, but that's part of it. Like learning to learning to do, I will do a separate video that I keep wanting to, having bad dance days. Like dance bad on purpose, do things bad on purpose until you're comfortable with it. And honestly, doing a bad dance day, especially if you've got a good sense of humor and you can get extra silly with it, you get bonus strengthening because you start laughing too. And which is also good for mental health. But those days really should be done by yourself as much as possible, at least at first, because it doesn't take much from other people to get that feedback that puts us back in the shell. And I think embracing who I am right now and doing things for who I am right now, not because someday I want to be other person, but for me now, because I I deserve to be able to have something special for me at the size that I am, at the mental health level that I am, at the mindset I am, with all the problems and struggles I have. It's not about yeah, I think you get my point. But I just think it's really important because that mindset is has changed so much for me and has made me it's gone in it's radiated into other areas of my life about understanding what it is like to feel respected, to feel loved, and to feel valued. I didn't understand that until I valued and respected and knew how to treat myself well. And because before that, I didn't really, so the way people treated me, it was right. It was right. It was like, okay, okay, because that's how I'd always been treated. And I hadn't learned how to treat myself well. So how was I expecting, you know what I'm saying? Like until we have that genuine, because the only time you understand and know for sure something is genuine is when it's from you, because there's all kinds of things that appear other ways. But just when it comes to that, I think it's important. And I think it's important also, like, especially like when you're doing like, because for me, when I started doing some shuffling moves, and I mean just like super basic, like when I started the running man move, just like one move, it was discouraging at first because I was big. I was more weight than I am now, and I have a lot of health issues, back problems, knee problems, all stuff. And I was like, I can't do this, like it's so hard. And then I stopped myself and I was like, I could do like three, two or three. And I was like, well, like let's just do two or three every day, and then do the other stuff that we can do, and take the win on that because two or three for me at my weight and my health level, that's like the equivalent for a person who's fit and healthy probably of doing like 50, like I take that like, okay, this is super hard. Yeah, bonus points because I'm doing it. Like, and it's harder for me. Like, effort is a muscle too, or not a muscle, but like something valuable. Like, if we could see how much effort people put into things, I think the world would be different. I think, we have all these people that are extremely athletic or so good at a sport, and we're all impressed with those dancers and those people, and it's great. That's wonderful. But it would be so cool if you could see the person at the end of the race and see how much effort they're putting in and be able to celebrate that effort too. Not just the success, but the effort, and look at and be like the whole race, that person's effort was maxed out. Everybody else was at the normal, like around the average, but this group of people or whatever, their effort is all the way at the top, but they never get to the finish line before it never counts. They never win. They don't even, they get the participation award all the time, but that award means so much more. And the world will kind of make people who are not successful at things seem like it's less than, and it's not. But if you can learn to celebrate it for yourself and frame your participation ribbons, whatever, like treat it like it is, because it is something amazing. If you're putting that much work and it's harder for you, take that and be that badass. You're not a before picture, you're a badass doing it anyways, even when it's hard. And I just think that if we could learn to champion that more in people and recognize that more in people, especially, it has to start with us though. Like, we've got to treat ourselves, we have to treasure ourselves, because the truth is, I didn't know how to be treated. And I've been in a lot of abusive relationships in my life, work relationships, uh, relationships, and just all kinds of things. And I just didn't know that, because I just was so used to letting people treat me how they treated me and assuming it was okay. And, um, but so for ourselves, we have to understand. And then as we learn to treat ourselves that way and treasure ourselves that way, then we are able to do it better with other people and treasure them better. And we understand better what's appropriate to say to them and what's not, and what's helpful, what's hurtful. And until I've gone through that process for me, um, especially like wherever I'm at, accepting myself and loving myself as I am, I can't do that well with other people. And I just, yeah, I just need to shut up because I just keep talking in circles because that's my style.